This is Dire Maul, Capital Gardens, as Mistweaver Monk. This is not a dungeon guide, I'm not an expert at this game, this represents my individual experience with a random dungeon group. So another multi-wing dungeon here that got split up. Did it get split up? Maybe it was always several different pieces of dungeon, you know. This was the third one that I couldn't remember, in addition to Maraudon and Black Ark Depths. So this one also is... there are 3 parts of Dire Maul that you queue for separately in the Dungeon Finder. Gotta actually fight some things to get to the quest givers here. They're buried over here. Looks like a warrior tank this time. Hunter, another warrior, I think, and that looks like an arcane mage? Yeah. Learning to identify things in sight. If I rolled over their portraits that tell me their class, you have to inspect to see the specialization, or just know from looking at what actions they take. Surprising amount of arcane and frost mages I run into leveling here. Don't see any fire mages. Fire was the mage spec that I enjoyed playing when I played a mage. But I don't tend to see them leveling for some reason. Just notice these trends, like some class and specialization combinations just are surprisingly rare while leveling. I'll be interested to see how that balance changes when I get to max level and start doing heroic dungeons and other stuff like that. Not there yet, though. So big wide open space here. Just kind of cut a path through the middle of it. Can kind of ignore all the monsters on either side that are out of range of... like if you just want to walk through in a straight line, out of range of where they'll see you from that. That radius is not marked. You just kind of have to feel it out. Like, there are monsters on either side. If I get too close to them, they will see me and start attacking. Or he's looking back to make sure everybody has made it. Nobody's stepped too close to a monster. But yeah, you just kind of have to eyeball that, and it's different per... I'm not sure what are all the variables that go into it. If you're a much higher level than the monsters, the radius goes way down. Like, you have to basically step on them for them to notice you if their nameplate is gray. Everything's going to be yellow in these dungeons because of the automatic scaling. This warrior is level 60, by the way. Yeah, so this is demonstrating that a level 60 character can play with a level, I guess it'd be 40-ish. Well, we'll see when combat ends. How long has gone by since Earthsong Falls. I can heal him just fine. The 20-ish level disparity doesn't... Okay, 19 level disparity doesn't make that impossible. I don't know how the scaling works, but it does something. But yeah, it's not like I can't move his health bar with my healing spells or anything. It works fine. So I've learned since this experience that there's this thing called time walking, where you can, at a much higher level, queue for old dungeons. Not all of them, but some of them. I think that was how I ended up grouped with somebody who was actually level 110, but was scaled down to 60. It's possible that if I brought up the inspect window for this warrior, I would find that he is a higher level than 60, and just has been scaled down for this dungeon run. That's the only way I currently know to... Hey, there's that black swirly stuff again. There is no warlock in the party. Okay, so that's not a warlock thing. Alright, so I still haven't figured out what that is. Not sure how I would look it up. Black swirly effect on the ground World of Warcraft. Don't think I'd get great results if I googled that, but maybe I would. I don't know. I could try it, I guess. This is the route? I thought the route through here was different. This is not a dungeon I know super well. Weren't we supposed to, like, go up a ramp at some point? Oh no, I got interrupted. Oh hey, I got a new ability there. Yeah, my number 5. I have Essence Font now. So Essence Font is interesting. What it does is it's a full party heal that is channeled, but I can move while I'm channeling it. Let's see if I use it at some point. Maybe I already did and just wasn't paying attention. Oh no, I'm charmed. Character's doing stuff on her own, can't control her right now. Guess she's healing the enemy. There we go. There's Essence Font. So that's what it looks like to channel it. So it just shoots out these like little healing bolts to nearby party members. So I can do it while I'm moving. So before, the only healing I could do while moving was just renewing Mist, which is slow and weak, kind of. Works well with other spells, but on its own it doesn't do a whole lot at this level, at least. But yeah, now I have something that I can actually use while we're on the move. It's not extremely strong. It gets stronger as I level up, but at this level it's... I mean, it's something. It's better than just doing nothing while I'm moving. But it's not super great. And there's that Tiger's Lust, by the way. Use it on myself, move faster, can use it on other people. Seems like almost every other monk that I've seen takes the Chi Torpedo talent instead, and I think I'm gonna maybe try switching to that. It basically gives me like a third roll that's maybe a bit stronger and faster. That might end up being more practical than Tiger's Lust. So Tiger's Lust speeds me up and also breaks any root and snare effects, which isn't something that happens all that often. Again, I think it's meant to be a PvP talent. I find it useful the way I play, but Chi Torpedo might actually do better, so I'll probably switch to that. I kind of don't like the idea of just like everybody using the same talent build. And you know, it's just one of these things where, oh, what, you took this talent? No, you don't know how to play. You're supposed to do this thing that everybody else does. I feel like the talent trees are actually pretty well balanced now, where, you know, you can just take whatever and it'll be fine. One of them's probably balanced better than the other two for, you know, just the way the numbers work out for certain purposes, but it seems close enough that you can kind of just do whatever and it's fine. There's that effect again. Still wondering. Just cannot tell. Could it be a hunter thing? Was there a hunter in that Scarlet Monastery party? So quest giver here. Up on this little skywalk. This place is a bit confusing. Oh, okay, so that's actually a Maghar orc. I barely noticed earlier that he was actually a dwarf, in some kind of dwarf form. Like I said, there's a bunch of items and toys and things in this game that can transform you to look like somebody else for a little while. People like to use those. So yeah, that's actually an orc.
I am out of range.
If it was a dwarf, he'd be on the other faction. But people like to look like somebody they are not. Sometimes.
I need to get closer.
Bit of latency. Looting's kinda slow. Is this a boss? Who are we fighting? Ilyana Ravenoak. Doesn't have the boss health bar over on the right. but it just seems like that doesn't always show up. Let's see if she gets the special fanfare at the end for having killed a boss. I think she counts as one. She's part of a quest. Certainly takes long enough to kill. Yeah, okay. Counts as a boss. Just did not show up on the right. Still no idea what determines that. Maybe it's a bug. Maybe it's intentional. I don't know. This warrior certainly knows what he's doing. Has the heirloom gear on. Knows the route really well. Knows exactly what to do. Nothing to worry about from him. Star Shards. Enemy Night Elves still use that. That's an ability that I'm pretty sure was removed long, long ago. Don't think it exists anymore. So down a ramp now. What a weird layout. I remember when Dire Maul was added to this game, way back in Classic. This was right around the time that I was quitting for the first time, back when I played Classic. Never set foot in it back then, because again, I just did not know how to interact with the endgame. Hey, I leveled up. New dungeon unlocked, Dire Maul. Go.commons. It's just listed as Dire Maul down there. That's funny. And Stratholm, that used to be a level 60 instance. In fact, I think that used to be a raid instance. Dire Maul might have two? I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll get to both of those when we get to them.
I need to get closer.
Rooted, so presumably Tiger's Lust could remove that effect if I needed to, but I didn't need to. I had no reason to move from where I was.
I am out of range.
Something's targeting me. My nameplate's red. What's going on here? Additional trees are coming down. Ancients rise against these intruders. Okay, so Tender Swarpwood called friends to fight with him. I see. That other warrior found some way to take some damage. Probably hit those other trees a bit too hard before the warrior tank got to them. I wasn't paying attention. Just watching health bars.
I need to get closer. I need to target something first.
So he didn't count as a boss. Didn't get the special thing from the... There's a horse here. I don't know what's going on. But on the map he is... Man, this is so inconsistent. Like that big thing that would normally pop up in the middle saying, Tender Swarpwood has been defeated. Didn't happen. Why the inconsistency? From what I've seen, it seems like not a huge amount of love is shown to these old dungeons. the development effort is... Oh hey, my Renewing Mist has 2 charges now. So it has right, so it charges up to 2 uses. I can have it on 2 people or more if I get it on a 3rd one before it's expired, because the cooldown is less than the duration. So yeah, now I can put Renewing Mist on 2 people, hit a 3rd one with Vivify, and I've just healed 3 people in the party. So that's kind of my primary way of actually doing a decent amount of healing on more than 1 or 2 people at a time. Essence Font does a little bit, so it'll help top somebody off if they're low. It's something to do if I'm moving and can't cast other spells, but it's not super strong at it. But yeah, so 2 Renewing Mists and a Vivify will hit 3 people, because every Vivify that I use hits every target that has the Renewing Mist on them for less than the primary target's healing, but still a pretty good amount. Just in general, the Monk is better as a single target healer, really. So to heal the whole party at once is not really their specialty.
I do not have a target.
It's a lot of fun to play, though. Yeah, so Heroic Leap there, what both of those warriors just did, that's their roll equivalent, basically. Make a huge jump through the air. There's something to loot here somewhere. I'm having trouble figuring out where to click to get to it. The game was having trouble with it too. Fortunately, nobody was getting in trouble over there while I was figuring that out. They're starting to. Yeah, they're starting to. That was way late in the Tiger's Lust. I should have used it as soon as I had finished looting. That was fine. Level 60 warrior knows what's up. I don't know if this dungeon would have come up in, somebody was highlighting something on the map. There was something related to a quest there, but vegetables is off, leading the way down here. Yeah, I don't know that this dungeon would come up if at level 60 you just say, I want to do a random classic dungeon, because, well, you can queue for specific dungeons all the way from 15 to 60, as long as they're in range. If you just say, I want to do a random one, doing a random dungeon comes with extra rewards, which are different depending on which level you're queuing at. But anyway, I'm almost sure that he specifically highlighted this dungeon as saying, I want to go to Dire Maul, which one is this? Capital Gardens.
I am out of range.
Because yeah, at that level, that would probably give him the dungeons that are closer to the level 60 requirements. The list of what you can get when you say, I want to do a random dungeon is not visible, but I know it changes as you level up. Like at level 60 you would never get, pretty sure you'd never get Ragefire Chasm or Dead Mines or, one of those really low level ones, just from random. But the list is not visible, so you just have to observe what you can get by queuing for a whole bunch of them. If it's documented somewhere on the internet, I have not found that place. So yeah, most of what I did was highlighting specific dungeons I wanted to run, because again, fitting all of the classic dungeons into the 15 to 60 level range was a challenge for me. And I kind of needed to make sure I didn't do the same one more than once a lot of the time. One of the rewards for doing a random dungeon is extra experience, and I really didn't want that because I was leveling too fast as it was. It's an interesting problem to have because this game used to be so slow with the leveling and, all the stuff. It has gotten to be so much less of a grind. Like, it's really just gone in the other direction. I'm having to skip so much content and just pick and choose. There's a lot of stuff I would want to see, but I'm just relentlessly pushed forward by experience gain unless I specifically go to the place where you have to pay some in-game money to turn it off temporarily. Yeah, I just don't get the time to do all the things I want to do because I am pushed toward the end game, which is probably fine because I guess I want to be at max level. I don't know. Imilthar, officially last boss of this wing of Dire Maul, I think. I think this is one where, like Scarlet Monastery, you cannot walk to the other wings. I think they have actual separate entrances to them, unlike Black Ark Depths and Maraudon. Not 100% sure on that, though, but I think that's how it is. Again, this is of the dungeons, this is one that I am less familiar with. Again, way late on the Tiger's Lust. I guess I had not really learned to use it efficiently at this point. Yeah, not just late, but like I really didn't need it there at all. A roll would have been enough. I didn't even need to move faster there. I don't know. I just really wanted to hit that dog demon. Whatever the heck it is. Looks like I'm trying to do some dispels, but they're not working out or something. What was I doing there? So a nice thing about Detox, if I use it and the target doesn't have a disease, magic, or poison effect on them, the cooldown doesn't start. So like I can't actually waste it if I accidentally have the wrong target selected or something, unless that target also has a dispellable effect on them. So Imilthar is down. Alright, there was my, I guess this was a random queue because I got a satchel of helpful goods there. So yeah, boss is done. But there was that quest thing that was on the map that was not done. My quest log is not empty. Well, things are ready for turn-in. If I had checked, perhaps I would have seen that all of the turn-ins were at the dungeon entrance, but I think that's not the case. Some of them are, like, right in the middle. So even though the boss is down, we still have kind of a bunch to do here. This is laid out super weird, and all of the quest turn-in points are kind of all over the place. So we're going to do kind of a quiet backward walk through the dungeon. See the layout in reverse a little bit. And go track down some quest givers. I'm keeping this in its entirety because I think it's kind of interesting just to see the sort of cleared dungeon and the parts where you have to still be careful not to get too close to some of the monsters that are still alive. Other parties members doing the same thing. Some of them have teleported out and are running around on a different route. Warrior tanks coming back our way. Everybody's kind of trying to figure out how to get up above. I assume he probably knows. He's pretty knowledgeable. I'm going to follow him. Yeah, map's showing him going up that ramp. That seems right. I want to be on the bridge right above where I am now. Helpfully marked with a skull. Don't get too close to this thing, or it might kill you. So those are symbols that anybody can just stick on a monster to mark them for kill this first, or, you know, keep this thing under some sort of crowd control so that it stays out of combat until the rest are dead. There are sort of these conventional meanings to the symbols that everybody kind of knows. Like, skull means kill first, moon means crowd control first. There are several other symbols, but those are the two that seem to be generally agreed by everybody on how to use them. It's a very useful feature, but not used a whole lot in these old dungeons. It's just not as necessary here. Where the heck are we going now? At this point I might just be assuming, well, this warrior seems to know where he's going. I want to turn in my quests. He does too. So let's just follow. That mage's mana has been empty for quite a while. Can I just not see their mana bar when I'm not close to them or something? Because I would think just walking around not in combat it would have regenerated by now. So that's what that box is for. Huh. Alright, staff upgrade maybe. Cool. Everybody's leaving. I still have quests though. Yeah, so everybody left, which means I can no longer teleport out of the dungeon and then teleport back in. Since I was not one of the people who had warped back to the beginning right after we killed Imulthar, that means I'm going to have to walk all the way back there myself. Or come back later on foot and actually walk to the instance entrance and get in there instead of warping in from the dungeon finder. Or just do it this particular one again in the dungeon finder just so I can turn in the quests. So I opted to walk back. So yeah, doing some map reading here to figure out where I need to go. Yeah, this is a confusing place. Not super streamlined for this part of the process. Minimap helps. Big map is semi-useful. It's hard to read sometimes. The transition zones between like the different map layers you can show are not always clearly marked. So you still just kind of have to know your way around. I recognize this as being near the beginning of the dungeon. So I think the quest turn-in points are just across this central part. Which again, like I was saying, don't get too close to the monsters on either side or you will catch their attention. Now I'm all alone. I guess the upside is, if I caught their attention and I died, then I'd be able to just respawn at the beginning of the dungeon. So that would have been quicker. If I'd just, like, gotten something to kill me, I could start over there. But, you know, then my items take durability damage and I have to pay to get them repaired, so this is the cheaper way. My reward is a little bit of experience and money, just like a token amount. And same for this. But I guess the real reward is a clean quest log. That's what I wanted. Alright, and that was, what was this, Capital Gardens? Yep, that's it. See you for the next one.